A door opened with a bang, and I turned. Michizane-san was standing there, panting.
I didn't know.
Nanakuma!
Is she okay? On my way home from school, I saw a pretty girl in our school uniform on a tree, trying to get a balloon caught in a branch. That kinda looks old school. I was a bit surprised that even in present time, there were kids who would let go of their balloons. And I was somehow moved by this quiet-looking girl climbing a tree to get the balloon. I'm Yukitada Sugihara. I'm known to get good grades, and I behave well in this school. I pretend to be like that. Originally, I was a leader of a local motorcycle gang. It wasn't like I wanted to be one. I think I was just so dissatisfied back then. I wasn't bad at studies since I was little. On the contrary, I was actually good at it. But studies at school were designed for average students, so it was too boring for me. I wanted to move on faster. Why did I have to wait for those who were slower than me? This kind of feeling got accumulated inside me, and I ended up not going to school and hanging out with those who hated school. And I got power among them. Basically, I could learn things when I saw them once or twice. So I learned how to fight and rebel along with how to do those in the society. Unlike in school, you could go up the ladder in the motorcycle gang as long as you had power. You didn't have to wait for those without. Of course, there were times when I lost in fights. But I learned from my mistakes, so I never continued to lose. And before I knew, I was the leader of the motorcycle gang. After becoming the leader, I started to come to my senses. Come to think about it, I just hated school. And why am I the leader of the gang now? And being a leader was often troublesome. There were always those who wanted to challenge you, and other gangs wanted to fight as well. I just hated waiting for those who wasn't good at studying like me. What am I doing right now? I hate being trapped like this! And I talked to the leader 3 generations ago. Well, you're smart, but an idiot. What? Don't take it too seriously. Why don't you transfer to a new school and have a fresh start? Students with similar academic levels go to high school, so why don't you go to a more difficult high school? The former leader was a nice man, and he gave an answer to my problem. And I got transferred and started a new high school life as an honor student. Studying is fun. I especially liked physics and math because it was really deep. By the way, when I told the former leader about this, he laughed out loud saying, "You are the leader of the motorcycle and now you're deep into the world of science." He could be weird, but was really nice. And being an honor student, I found this pretty girl climbing a tree on my way home.
Just a little more.
The pretty girl said and tried hard to get the balloon in the tree. The kids looked worried as if they wanted to tell her to forget it. Is this pretty girl clueless? She was so caught up with getting the balloon that she didn't seem to be aware of how worried the kids are.
Here!
Her hand finally reached the string of the balloon, but...
Whoa! Whoa!
She lost her balance! She was cool enough not to let go of the balloon, but I was afraid that the kids would be traumatized if she fell off. So I rushed to help her. A girl's weight, along with gravitational acceleration of 2 meters, fell onto me. It was heavy indeed. I should be happy that I didn't let her fall on the ground. Are you okay?
Ow, it hurts.
You did fall from a tree.
Ouch! Oh, balloon! Here you go.
She said and gave the balloon to the kids. They hesitated a little, but accepted it and thanked her. They're calm and mature. Their mental ages seemed to be reversed, but the pretty girl looked very satisfied. I'm glad that you guys got your balloon back.
Ah, yes! Thank you so much!
The kids thanked her and left. Good for you, kids. and I faced the pretty girl.
Thank you, but you didn't have to save me.
Ah, she's really clueless. Thinking that, I couldn't help but start laughing.
What's going on?
The pretty girl was at a loss for a while, but she seemed a bit annoyed by my laughter.
Hey, you're being rude. You shouldn't laugh at someone you've just met.
She was angry, but she wasn't sure why I was laughing so hard, so she wasn't completely mad. Oh, I'm sorry! A pretty girl like you climbing a tree, that was kind of fun.
What? What do you mean?
If you wanted to get something from that high, you should ask someone else. Any guy would climb if you asked. She didn't seem to understand what I was saying and tilted her head. She looked so cute. But I came to my senses and thought I should stop laughing or I'd be really rude. I laughed too much. I'm sorry. I bowed and the pretty girl said hurriedly,
What? Oh, no! Well, I was being too aggressive and fell from the tree. You saved me, but I was being rude myself. I'm sorry. I'm not good at expressing my feelings. What I did wasn't good, and I was being rude. I should have thanked you first. I'm really sorry.
Seeing her apologize with her head bowed, I knew she was a really good girl. Sometimes when you were surprised or feeling sorry, your words could get harsh to conceal your feelings. I was just so intrigued by this awkward and pretty girl, and I hope to get to know her. That's okay. I want to tell you that I'm totally fine, but actually, my wrist hurts a little. We go to the same school, right? Can you give me your number just in case? To tell you the truth, my wrist didn't hurt at all. Would she believe me and give her number that easily?
What? Are you okay? I'm sorry. I was thoughtless. Did you sprain your wrist?
She said and took my wrist. My heart skipped a beat at how skinny her fingers were and how cool her hand was. You had to forgive me that I'm not used to being around girls. I only knew the world of school and the motorcycle gang. It hurts just a little, so I don't think it will be a big problem as long as it doesn't get swollen.
Please let it not get swollen. Hocus pocus. Pain, go away.
Thanks. Just like that, I got the number of this innocent tsundere pretty girl. I spent some time looking at the screen of my smartphone, but I had no idea what to say in a message. I've got no experience with girls. In the end, I fell asleep looking at the home screen of her line.
Hello?
I was about to leave my classroom to go get something to eat at lunch when the pretty girl spoke to me.
Let's eat lunch together. I made sandwiches, so you can eat with only one hand.
What? You made that for me? I'm really glad. Thank you so much.
Glad to hear that. I was gonna ask you what you like and dislike, and if you have food allergy or not, if you sent me a message yesterday. I was waiting but fell asleep.
Looking at her shy smile, I smiled too. And we went over to the courtyard to eat lunch. The pretty girl's name was Michi Nekozane. Did you climb the tree because your name is Cat?
Hey, no!
My joke about her name didn't go well. Too bad.
I fell off after all.
She looked so cute with her lips pouted, so I took a picture of her with my smartphone.
Hey, you shouldn't take a picture without asking.
Nekozane-san's emotions changed rapidly. It was fun to watch her. She was like a kaleidoscope. She was full of vibrant and colorful emotions. I was happy to see them. She was kind of a person who would climb a tree for kids. She was pretty, but was not arrogant. She was kind to kids and was not afraid of a challenge. Honestly speaking, I was really drawn to her. That night, I sent her a message to thank her for lunch. The sandwiches were delicious. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I make them again.
We started exchanging messages and ate lunch together. One day, while we were eating lunch together, Nekozane-san accidentally spilled ketchup from her omelet rice on her napkin. Are you always this clumsy?
I'm not clumsy.
What a typical reaction. So cute as usual. the stain doesn't come off.
It was my favorite.
Do you want to go shopping this weekend?
What? Really? But I wasn't feeling down or anything because I got a stain on my favorite napkin.
She could be tsundere like this. She was blushing. Let's go! I want to thank you for always making my lunch as well. And actually, I wanted you to accompany me to go shopping. I was getting used to how nice she was, so I thought she wouldn't say no if I asked her like this.
What? Jeez. Okay, I'll go with you if you insist.
I'm worried about how easy you are, Nekozane-san. When I looked at her, Nekozane-san seemed happy with a smile on her face. I touched my heart, feeling my heart skip a beat. Her smile would change everything even if I tried hard. Before I knew, I was completely swayed by my own feelings for her. I tried to come up with a shopping plan to make Nekozane-san happy, but I couldn't come up with anything that seemed good enough for the unpredictable girl. I didn't have any plan other than to look for a napkin. I had to go on a date with almost no plan. I was a bit worried while waiting for Nekozane-san, and she arrived looking pretty as usual.
Thank you for waiting.
We'd been spending a lot of time together lately, and we'd become closer. I'd seen how unique and weird she was, but Nekozane-san was really pretty. Guys walking by were looking at her, and it made me want to tell them how she looked pretty, but it was really great inside too. I waved at her, and she waved back at me in a large motion. I took her to a fashionable store to buy a napkin. No, you should get black or red. It should be something that can hide stains.
No, but black or red ones are not cute. I like white or ivory linen.
No! You'll definitely spill soy sauce. You should at least choose brown.
No way! I don't like you when you sound like my mom.
You don't like me.
What? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't. Sorry.
A girl that I like suddenly told me that she didn't like me, and it hurt. Yeah, I'm fine. In the end, I bought an ivory and white napkin that she wanted. I realized how easy I was. I couldn't win against a crying child or a girl that I liked. We were done shopping, but I still wanted to be with her, so I asked her if there was somewhere she wanted to go. She told me that she wanted to watch a movie, so we went to the movie theater. It was a new anime movie, and it was the one that I wanted to watch. I was really happy. After the movie, I walked her home, talking how we thought of the movie. I would love to go out with you again. I made up my mind and told her, and Nekozane-san nodded.
I want that too, but to tell you the truth, there is someone that I can't forget about. I don't even know his name, but I just can't forget about him.
It was like being hit hard on my head. I thought I was the closest to her, but she had someone in her heart, and I couldn't win. I see. I don't think you should force yourself to forget about him. Your feelings are important. I think you should treasure it. It was all that I could say. Honestly speaking, I wanted her to see me. I almost said that to her, but somehow I stopped myself. If I was getting dumped, I wanted to keep cool. I was just not good at love. No matter how much I read books or get knowledge, I wouldn't be able to reach the right answer. The next day, I felt awkward, so I ate lunch alone. I got used to eating her lunch, so I felt lonely and the bread I was eating didn't taste good. But I was still hurt, and I couldn't stand looking at Nekozane-san's face. I told myself that it was just my life before I met her. I couldn't help but sigh. I took a bite of the bread, feeling depressed. A door opened with a bang and I turned. Michizane-san was standing there, panting.
I didn't know. You were the leader, Sugihara-kun?
Nekozane-san had a letter in her hand.
This.
I took a look, and there was an instruction on how to memorize multiplication. It also said, "Let's study together, Mi-chan." It was a worksheet that I made when I was in elementary school. When I was in elementary, I made copies of my notes for this girl who was absent and took them to her house. She had this letter. It meant that she was my classmate.
I've always liked you, Sugihara-kun.
For a moment, I had no idea what she was talking about.
I was always sick when I was little, and I couldn't go to school much. I had no friend, and didn't know the names of my classmates. But I really like this boy who delivered worksheets to my home. This letter has always given me strength.
I didn't know she thought of me that way.
I took a test for private middle school, so I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to him. There was a local girl in my class in high school, so I asked her about the boy. She acted as if I asked her something I shouldn't have asked. And she told me that he was the leader of a motorcycle gang. She told me not to go near you. But I wanted to see what he was like, so I secretly went to see you.
What? She came to see me?
So the leader was you, Sugihara-kun. You were losing a fight when I saw you, but you weren't giving up at all. I fell in love with you at first sight then. You were getting your butt kicked hard, but your eyes were still strong. And I knew that you wouldn't lose the next fight. I hate fights, and I didn't know why, but I was cheering for you. And I became your fan.
Nekozane-san.
But I heard that you quit being the leader all of a sudden, and it was really shocking to me. Knowing that I couldn't see you anymore made me think about you even more. But I heard from Mr. Sano about you. Do you remember him? Mr. Sano, who was here for his teaching practice.
Mr. Sano that she's talking about was the former leader who gave me a chance to correct my life.
I happened to see him in town yesterday. It was rumored that he used to be a leader in his past, so I asked him if he knew anything about the leaders that I liked. And he asked me if I was talking about you, Sugihara-kun. I was really surprised. But it felt as if everything fell in place. The reason why it was so easy to talk to you from the beginning, and everything else as well.
And Nekozane-san smiled as if relieved.
It was these eyes that I fell in love with. I'm such an idiot. The person I've loved told me that he liked me, but I didn't realize. I feel so bad to ask you this, but will you stay with me? I've always been in love with you.
I was so happy that I cried. And she got on her tiptoes and kissed me. Nothing was predictable about her. I was amazingly happy to be swayed by her.